Howdy all. Today I would like to talk to you about a hidden culture that has influenced humanity since the dawn of recorded history, that of reptilian culture. I have chosen this topic to speak upon because of the vast undermining spiritual implications associated with this draconian power image. I have seen many references to the reptilian culture before, but never knew it. For instance, the caduceus, which consists of two snakes wrapped around a winged staff that represents the medical field. From this general example, let's now begin upon a journey into a strangely familiar land to find reptilian culture in the past, the present, and ultimately inside the human body. Our first stop in history is the Sumerian culture, made popular by the researcher named Zecharia Sitchin. According to Mr. Sitchin's studies of the ancient stone tablets of Sumeria, a spacefaring race known as the Anunnaki came to Earth in search of gold. Forgive me for skipping over the reason why the Anunnaki needed gold, as we are concerned about one of their lead scientists, whose name is Enki, who is credited with creating the human race as slave miners. Sufficient to say, Enki's advanced wisdom and knowledge is symbolized in the medical caduceus. As I gathered data about Enki, looking for information about his physical appearance, I came across some Christian information that compared him to the legendary snake in the Garden of Eden. This crossing philosophical ideology brings us to our second stop in recorded history, which is biblical representation. Throughout the canonized version of the Holy Bible, there is an adversary of humanity who is constantly referred to as a snake or serpent, and in the New Testament, a dragon. But with its just lost my place. Alright, here we are. There's an endless debate about the historical accuracy of the Bible. We are not concerned with that, but with its representation of reptilian culture in the form of Satanism, which is at ends compared to the intervention of wise reptilian hominids in the Asian cultures such as Japan and China. Even in Mexico, there's a story of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered god serpent. But in India and Tibet, there are stories of evil reptilian hominids who live underground that corroborate the biblical account of evil reptilians. Moving forward in time, though, we come upon stories from England, where knights in shining armor slay dragons. Dragons who hoard treasure and kidnap women, human women. And why would a dragon kidnap a human woman? Or human woman, excuse me? Well, if we venture into the Middle East, we find that the Arab cultures live by the biblical rule that a woman's beauty can literally make an angel fall from heaven. And as the Bible says, any fallen angel is a soldier in Satan's army. Now that we travel through a partial history of reptilian culture, let's move forward to its symbolic use, and examine how people have incorporated it into their lives, how it is presented in entertainment, and how our American military is ultimately a mockery of that culture as well. Two of the strangest places I've found a dragon used as a symbol of authority is on a coat of arms and on a flag. For instance, England likes to flaunt its reptilian culture. The prominent feature on the flag of Wales is the red dragon. And the royal family crest of all places has a unicorn chained to a dragon. Oddly enough, the English researcher named David Icke suggested these symbols point to the true power behind the royal family's bloodline. Similar in idea, but cast in stone, clay, or iron, are the statues of dragons found in front of various Thai and Chinese temples. Obviously, the dragon is a symbol of greatness, so it is no coincidence that it is a favorite subject amongst artisans worldwide. Even so, that imposing figure can be found in all areas of entertainment as well. From the Chinese dragon dance to Barney the dinosaur to the self-proclaimed Lizard King Jim Morrison, who is a deceased lead singer of the psychedelic rock band The Doors, and to Hunter S. Thompson writing about seeing reptilian hominids in Las Vegas while under the influence of hard drugs. There is no lack of reptilian culture to be found anywhere in any form of art and entertainment today. And speaking of this chameleon technique of hiding out in the open, what about the evolution of the American military fatigues throughout the past century? Battle dress uniforms, better known as BDUs or fatigues, have undergone a change unlike any other before in their long history of war. For once, soldiers started dressing for a more strategic manner than simply wearing fancy suits of armor. Abstract colorations were now printed on the BDUs for use as camouflage against the background, such as browns and greens for forest lands, tans and browns for the desert, and black, whites, and gray tints for urban camouflage. This tactic for hiding out in the open helped to augment the paradoxical nature of bloodlust and survival, or patriotism, or would that be sadism, of war. With the exception of patriotism, all these things are impulsive in nature. And how does impulsiveness lend itself to a reptilian culture? We must step over into the realm of biology to find that answer. There is a part of the human brain known as the reptilian complex, or the R complex, which is the oldest part of the brain. It is located around the center of the brain, not right in the middle, but around the center, and it regulates our basic needs and instincts, our actions and reactions, the fight or flight function, if you will. The R complex is anchored to the cerebellum at the base of the skull, and the cerebellum responds emotionally to music, and it also controls the timing of your motor functions. In relation to animals, observe a bird flapping its wings, or a snake as it undulates itself forward. Note also the snake charmers of India, who enchant snakes playing music. And speaking of snakes, a creature that is basically a flesh-covered spine, let's traverse down the backbone of humanity for some more interesting reptilian culture. Specifically, let's examine the coccyx, or the tailbone of the spinal column, which is located at the base of the human torso. If we take the idea of evolution into consideration here, it is said that the coccyx is the leftover tail stub of our simian heritage. When thought about it logically, though, it stands to reason that the coccyx is a remnant of a sperm cell. A sperm consists of two basic parts, a head and a tail. The head consists of genetic makeup, and the tail's main function is to swim that head to its destination. Once that is done, and a fetus begins to develop, that fetus goes through several stages of development, and the tail of the sperm grows into a spine. In conclusion, we have traveled down the dawn of human history to find the roots of reptilian culture in our physical and spiritual realms. Then we moved forward in time to see how symbolism of reptilian culture has permeated family, nation, art, entertainment, and war tactics. We made a final inside look at the human body to see how our ancient history is alive and well inside our brains, and how we fight the good fight against gravity with our tails. I mean backbones. Many ideas were plowed through this speech in hopes that you might see the reptilian culture that surrounds you and the subtle influence it has upon your thought process. Giving it a scaly, horn-faced, slit-pupilled look represents its hate, bloodlust, and destruction, whereas a conscious brain focuses on human potential, love, and compassion. When emotional reaction goes unchecked, it distracts from the facts, and therefore the situation must be reassured with a clear and level head. The situation must be reassessed with a clear and level head. Only then can we continue to move forward as a united race, feeling the future with our gut instinct, and not having to worry about a thing. I want to thank you for your time and your attention that you have invested in me today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them below or email them to me, and I will answer them the best I can. Ladies and gentlemen, may your path be littered with blessings. Thank you, and good night.